Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here in the Astros unit. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for August 21st, 2022, with your host, Physical2448 and Ramp Epsilon.
Aye.
We're back to Ace Attorney after a week off because I was sick and tired.
Not a vice attorney, just sick and tired.
In general, yes.
Figure that might need to be clarified there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we are finishing up Turnabout Goodbyes this week. But first, Tommy, did you catch Revice this week?
Yes, I forgot to watch it.
Oh. Well, it's the second to last episode. It was certainly the second to last episode of Revice. That certainly set up a thing to be resolved. Next episode, one way or the other, and I could go either way, to be honest. Because I kind of saw it coming from a mile away from the preview for this week's episode, and yep, that's happening. All right. Which way you pulling the trigger? But you still haven't checked out Fudo PI at all?
No. I get the feeling I'll probably wind up and decide to just binge it kind of deal.
Fair enough. I am watching it week to week, and I am enjoying it more than I'm enjoying Revice. Maybe because it's double content. I still don't like the opening. I really wish the WBX remix, that is WGX, was the opening, because it just makes more sense, I guess. I don't know. But anything else before we hit the episodes? Alright then, we shall kick off Ace Attorney this week with episode 9, Turnabout Goodbyes, Second Trial. It's time for the trial itself! Miles is describing Manford as 10 times as vicious as he is, and then when we meet Manford in the lobby, he says he's 20 times as vicious. So,
he's vicious. Math works.
Yeah. We get to the court. Manford's got it at his beck and call with a snap of his fingers. He delivers his argument with Gumshoe setting the scene that Miles and Robert were on the boat, and Miles shot him with a gun, and his fingerprints are on the gun. Also, a fog obscured everyone's view from the shore.
But people could clearly say that it happened.
Yes. But an enhanced version of the photograph shows Miles killing Hammond by holding the gun in his right hand. I believe it's his right hand, unless I was dyslexic and flopped it.
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. Okay. It was the opposite hand that they had the prints for. I know that much.
Yeah. Also, markings from the bullet from the gun match the gun Miles was holding. So, fairly cut and dry case. Lotta's called in as eyewitness. She provides the photos of the fatal shot. Phoenix demands his cross-examination before a verdict gets handed down. But Bamford says, you get one question, and that's it. Which seems questionable, but all right. Phoenix takes it. He questions Lotta if she clearly saw Miles, and she's very hesitant on it, even with the fog in play. But since, no further evidence was provided, Manfred advancing in, but Maya breaks in, tells Lala to come forward with the truth, and she gets thrown into contempt. But this gives Miles a chance to, or not Miles, Phoenix a chance to continue his cross-examination. Lada continues to claim to have seen Miles with the binoculars, but Phoenix counters with her reason to be there, which was for not Nessie. Was it Gordy? That's what it was. It's like, what was the name of the not Nessie that's supposed to be in the lake? But saying that if she was there for Gordy, why would she look at the boat?
Which is a fair argument.
Yeah. She then provides the enlarged photo that Phoenix demands be brought forth to the court. Manfred's like, no. But the judge is like, yes. And we see the photo, and it turns out that the gunman killed Hammond with his left hand, not his right hand. Therefore, that's the wrong fingerprints we have on the gun. So this gets Phoenix a day 2. And both him and Maya head to Gordy to investigate. We also find out that Miles bailed Maya out of jail because he's a nice person. And Gumshoe, when they meet up with him at Gordy, gives them a metal detector, which will be important for the end of this trial. In a really dumb way, but a very Ace Attorney way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, on both of those.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
but
throughout this, yet again made me realize I might have watched most of what you did, if not all of it.
I think you were around for the end of the first case, or the end of this case, but I think you fell asleep on me.
Probably.
Anyway,
like some of the finer details, I'm like, but for the most part, yeah, I'm like, oh, this case, great.
mm-hmm. But they also run into Lada, who's sorry about all the trouble. They end up passing. She ends up passing them a photo from when the first of 3 shots rang out, and it just shows the lake empty. We also find out that Gordy was Larry's giant inflatable mascot friend from his food stand. So, oops. We also find out that the local boat owner was the one who called the cops. And we meet his parrot friend, Polly, aka Sayuri, and we end the episode with it telling him to remember the DL6 incident. Ooh. That takes us to episode 10, Turnabout Goodbyes, Third Trial. So Phoenix and Maya visit this old man here who has no name currently, so he is Old Man. Because it's a surprise. They don't get a lot of answers out of him, but they do find out from the parrot that his safe opens with the combination 1228. That's not suspicious at all.
It definitely doesn't sound like a date or anything.
Mm-hmm. They also hear the birds say the DL6 line, but the old man's conked out, so no answers. Over to the police station, and this is something important for later in these episodes. They see Manfred leave with the casework for DL6. This is different than in the game. In the game, they actually meet Manfred in the archive mid-acquiring the DL6 evidence, and what happens later happens there, but they get the bullet there and not later in the case. That's important because we're going to have a problem to talk about later. If any of what I said made sense.
I feel like it kind of did.
Okay. I will explain again once we get to the other divergent point from the game. Anywho, Since they can't get the actual evidence for DL6, they do get all the paperwork because there's a copy of it from Gumshoe. Next trial segment. Old man is the one taking the stands. He remains unnamed because he doesn't remember his name, and he doesn't remember anything except for the last, couple years or so.
Really convenient.
Yeah. He affirms everything that Lotta said. He even spotted Miles passing the boat shop after the murder supposedly took place. Phoenix looks for an opening, gets nothing, and with the evidence in place, Miles ends up being declared guilty. Oh no! Except Larry was in the audience, and he's like, "No, I was there that night. I demand to take the stand." So he takes the stand. He talks about trying to find his inflatable friend in the lake, and talks about hearing 3 gunshots, 1 and then later on 2. And luckily, Larry was apparently listening to the radio when the first shot rang out, and the radio DJ said it was almost Christmas. Therefore, almost Christmas means it wasn't Christmas. It's the meme from the Ace Attorney games. Because yes, folks, this is a plot point from the first game, believe it or not. I wonder how people react who don't know the Ace Attorney games when they see that GIF get passed around. This is a major turning point for this case, and people probably don't even think twice about it.
Yeah.
But yeah. With that, and the first photograph from Lotta that timestamps it as being before midnight, it means Hammond was killed far sooner than they expected, and the old man is at the center of this discrepancy. Unfortunately, because he's been away from the stand by now, he's fled the courtroom, so he's on the loose, and they need to go find him. Therefore, we're going to a third day. But how did you feel about halfway through Turnabout Goodbyes now?
I realized just how, wouldn't necessarily say off the wall, but how much we stretch for some of this.
Yep. Look, Phoenix pulls shit out of his ass all the goddamn time to win the court case. That is common. And we're not even to the one witness part. We're not even there yet. And we've already went a long way to get somewhere.
Yeah.
In 2 episodes. But yeah, the difference from the game doesn't seem like much until we get to the end, and then it's like, oh, this is padding out for time then. I kind of don't like this now. Because it feels like we kind of pad out the episode by doing the same thing twice and a couple other things, but we'll get there. Anywho, shall we continue then?
I guess we shall.
All right, episode 11, Turnabout Goodbyes, 4th trial. So the police are on the search for the old man. Phoenix gets one last day to prove Miles' innocence. We get info on how Miles defended him in a mock trial at school way back in the day over missing money. The money was even Miles's, and he still defended Phoenix. And that ended up getting both him, Miles, and Larry as friends. And even back then, we find out that Miles wanted to be an attorney because his dad was an attorney. But at some point, he became a prosecutor, and Phoenix was like, I need to find out why, and I will find out by becoming a defense attorney and challenging him in the court. The old man's found at the boathouse, so we head back there to investigate once more. They open up the safe, finding a letter detailing the plan for revenge. Exactly how it played out. against both Hammond and Miles. After this, Phoenix goes to Grossberg for details on the DL6 incident. We fast forward to the trial as the old man takes a stand. Phoenix looks to prove his identity. He plays dumb, and with very little evidence, we can't really crack him. That's when Grossberg, in a change from the game, Grossberg is called in to recap DL6. In the game, Grossberg just tells Phoenix in the office the DL6 incident details, so he's not in court at all. That's not as big of a deal. But we find out that while Miles, his dad, and the security guard were in an elevator that was stuck during a blackout, the guard attacked Miles' dad, and Miles threw a gun, and that gun shot his dad. His dad died in the process. The guard was pointed to by his dad's ghost that was called by Misty Faye. And through all of this, the guard got off, but he was still like, people were still mad about him, so he kind of disappeared. His fiance even committed suicide. And the security guard's name was Yanni Yogi, aka Kotaro Hanai. Or Hein? But yeah, even with all this, the old man refuses to crack. But as Maya's suggestion, which is different in the game, because in the game, Manford makes an offhanded comment about calling the bird to the stand as a joke, and Phoenix takes him up on that legitimately. But in this case, it's Maya's suggestion to call the bird to the stand. So we in fact call Polly to the stand. This is in no way, shape, or form legal, mind you, calling a parrot to the witness stand in a criminal court case.
What? Sure it is.
But it's fine. Anyway, they try to get him to repeat the DL6 line. It fails, because Manfred apparently retrained the bird. Because of fucking course he did. Of course he was that thorough. But because he still knows the combination, and the bird's name is the same name as the fiance, that finally gets Yanni to crack and admit to killing Hammond and trying to frame Miles. Therefore, Miles is finally declared not guilty. Except he takes the witness stand and says he's responsible for the DL6 incident and wants himself to be prosecuted for that. So we're not done. God damn it, Miles. Which takes us to our final episode, episode 12, Turnabout Goodbyes, Last Trial. Miles details his dream about him being the one to kill his dad because he threw the gun and stuff. Phoenix doesn't buy it and continues to defend him after recess for the trial. I'm going to point out that the game also has a difference here, because the game emphasizes that the statute of limitations on the DL6 incident was to end on this final day of the trial. They don't bring it up in this episode. That's the only reason Miles really copped to the murder to start with, was because this was the last possible day he could cop to it. So I don't know why they forgot to bring up that little detail.
Probably
because that was also
probably didn't feel like in the grand scheme really that big of an impact on.
Right, but it was also part of the revenge thing, because that was the whole timing thing for the revenge, because again, the statute of limitations on DL6 is running out, and meh. Anyway.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not discounting the fact that that probably should have been in there. I'm just saying, truthfully, at this point in the show, that probably wouldn't.
Yeah. Anywho, Phoenix points out that there were 2 shots fired and that a second bullet is missing from the scene. Phoenix thinks that the bullet was lodged in the killer, and with Mia's help, that is being called in by Maya, He deduces that Manfred, since he took the day off after the DL6 incident, and the court case that was just handled before the DL6 incident happened was between him and Miles' dad. He must have been the killer. So, confronted with this, Manfred continues to try and end the trial, but Phoenix pushes, and as the final piece of evidence to present for the case, pulls out the metal detector and says, I'm gonna waive this prosecution, and if it beeps, he goes to jail. And he waves it at him, and lo and behold, it beeps. But they also need the matching bullet from the DL6 incident to match up with the bullet that's in Manfred's shoulder. Here is the difference. In the game, they already have the bullet. And they've already presented it, meaning the game's over. The case is done. Here, they don't have the bullet, and they have to do this whole rigmarole with the prosecutor's office and stuff to keep the episode going, I guess. So, Miles fakes...
I wonder if it was more of a pacing.
That's what it feels like it is.
Because it might have been a case of we wouldn't have been able to have ended on Miles copping to the murder at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
It might have happened in the middle of an episode if they followed it through to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if that's the case, then that's fine. That's a weird shuffle of events that still gets you to the end result. So, meh. If it wasn't, then I feel like that is a dumb decision to have made.
I just don't like that the end of this court battle is not Phoenix waving the damn metal detector at Manfred and it beeping. Because that's how it ends in the game. Phoenix waves the metal detector at Manfred, and it's just like, it beeped, the bullet's in you. We have the bullet. All we got to do is pull it out and compare it. You want a cop now or after we pull the bullet out of your dumb ass? But yeah. In the show, Miles fakes an episode to get them a quick recess so that Miles can stick Maya into the prosecutor in Manfred's office to get the bullet. As she's doing it, she gets tased by one of Manfred's goons, but she does wake up in time to grab the bullet, make it back to the courtroom as Larry was standing in for Miles for a hot minute. And she makes it in time with the bullet. This causes Manfred to finally confess as Phoenix and Miles both dunk him simultaneously with his crimes. And then Manfred confesses, and then Phoenix again dunks him, which is another weird pacing thing I don't like. Like, no, you dunked him already. You don't need to dunk him again. That's fine. Anyway, afterwards, everyone gathers up. We find out that Larry committed the crime from back in the day at the school. Because of course he did. So that upsets Phoenix, and everybody gets the picture together, goes parties. But the next day, Maya leaves to continue her spirit training. And again, because Phoenix doesn't have the bullet to show to Maya to be like, hey, you did help on this case. You did do good. Because she got the bullet in both situations. It's just different circumstances. Phoenix sees her off, and thus ends the first game of cases in the episode. So, how'd you feel about Turnabout Goodbyes in its entirety?
I feel like the comment I made about how it turned out, I feel like that's the biggest kind of question mark there.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I feel like it works. Does it have to be game accurate? No.
Yeah.
Does it feel like we might have possibly, did a little more creativeness with it? Possibly.
Yeah.
But let's be fair, we've seen worse.
Mm-hmm.
Way worse.
Like, ultimately, it's fine. I have weird order of events issues that feel like it kind of muddies the impact of the end of the case, but it's fine. If anything, I wish the Ace Attorney did more with the cases and expanded them out more.
Instead of just, here's the case, if you played the game, you pretty much know where we're going.
Here's the Cliff Notes version of the case, goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. I mean, I guess on one hand that might be a good thing for people that might be interested in the games, but don't have a way to play them, kind of deal.
Yeah.
That might be that good common ground there, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fine. It's not the worst thing we've watched.
No, by far.
All right, then next week, then we start with a anime exclusive case, which is more about that flashback in Turnabout Promise, and then 3/4 of the first case of the second game, which is Reunion in Turnabout. But between now and then, Thursday will be the last showcase week-ish of Rider Chronicle. Friday will be something.
I am not even going to try to say KH2 random because I have zero clues as to what happening in open emulations.
Yeah, I'll pick up KH2 on PC tomorrow. just to solve it that way.
What's bad is I still not fully convinced that will 100% solve that. Because I was having issues out of the PC side of it too. Granted, apparently you're having more issues out of the emulations. So...
who knows?
Holy crap.
But yeah, that will be a thing on Friday. Saturday will be TGS. We'll get to talk about games and stuff of some kind. Tune in then. And next Sunday is us continuing Ace Attorney. So if you like what you're seeing, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chip away that affiliate go at TGS on Twitter gets you updates in life. Thanks, especially on Discord. Jack is this link. Drop by, say hi. See you Thursday, folks.